Hello, how are you, Amanda? Saint Artist. We're gonna do our makeup. I'm gonna do my face and we're gonna talk about full coverage. A lot of people like full coverage. I would consider myself a full coverage girl. I like that nice even skin tone. I like it to look on point on a regular day. The only difference for event makeup to me is maybe a punchier blush. Honestly, that's the only difference, is a punchier blush, maybe a little more definition, but this is just full coverage. And you're gonna see my palette looks a little different than it usually does. And it's because I'm gonna use 3 highlights because I've got stuff. I got hyperpigmentation, I've got acne scarring, I got stuff. And so if you like a full coverage makeup, there are times where I will suggest a 3rd highlight, and that can seem overwhelming, but I'm gonna show you how it's not. So I'm gonna use the blend brush first. This is a great brush because it's a light application brush. So we're gonna go into that darker shade. This is Mango, then I have Athens, which is my main highlight. This is the truest tone to my skin. And then Versailles right here is my Brightening. But we're gonna go into this dark shade that's close to my summer shade. And we're gonna use it to help camouflage. So this is a great way to camouflage that discoloration. I'm tapping on straight up and down with the fluffy end of the blend brush, and I'm gonna go over all this discoloration. I'm gonna tap this around on the apples of my cheeks. I'm not putting a heavy layer on. I'm putting, like I do with Aspen, a very light layer of makeup on, and then I'm bridging it up and over. I have redness on my nose, so this Mango is just gonna mute down that redness. And then I'm going over my scarring on the apples of my cheeks. I have large pores here, and so I don't want a heavy amount of makeup, so using this dark shade covers it. We're not camouflaging, we're not muting it, we are covering it, and by using this dark shade, I'm able to use less and get the most out of my makeup. I'm bringing that Mango down right here on either side. I get discoloration from acne on either side of my chin, and then I'm just gonna bridge it across, just like that. Now I have some breakouts coming in because I'm hormonal, grabbing a little more on that. The fluffy end is key, not this guy, this end. And I'm just gonna go right here in the middle, and I'm just gonna pull this out. I'm using a light layer because that darkness gives me the ability to use less and get the most. Said it before, saying it again, and that's it. Now I'm gonna go in with the detail brush. I've been loving the detail brush for my whole face lately, so I'm gonna do it again. But I'm gonna go into Athens, stamping. Do you hear that? You wanna hear it. You don't wanna be, that's not gonna pick it up the way you want. Tap that in, knock on it, knocking on the door. We're gonna pick it up and see how it's on top of the bristles, not clumping them together. Don't wipe through. We are gonna go right down here, and I'm going to even out my skin tone. I have a hormonal breakout there. It covered it right up. And this is going to give us that even skin tone. I am pressing and almost flicking it, but that's how I'm applying it. I have maturing skin, not mature skin. So this is a great method for if you do have mature skin, is to tap it rather than wipe it, because your skin's gonna move if you're wiping it, and it's not gonna get where you want it. So tap it around, tap it on. It won't accentuate your fine lines. It won't accentuate your pores if you're tapping it on like this. And then I'm gonna bring it over that darkness, or that where my redness was, and I'm just bringing it down. The thinnest amount is going right here because I have a lot of movement there and I could easily texturize it. But you see how it just evened everything out? Whereas over here, it's not. It's not tapping. You want to hear it. We're going to go down here first, and then we're going to bring it up. Bringing it up. Again, over that Mango color, over that discoloration. So if you are a lighter shade than Athens, say you're White Peach, go grab yourself Candlelit and use Candlelit in that same way. If you are Mango, go grab yourself Goddess or Papaya and grab those. If you're Sandy, again, you can grab Mango and do it. So just pick a couple shades lighter. I mean, they are in order on the website. If you've been color matched and you want to try this, go find your shade. They are in order lightest to darkest, and just go up a shade. And you do this. It's so good. This blend brush is such a great addition to your collection brush. I think everybody should have it because there's always going to be a need for it at some point under your eyes, correcting. It's a great brush. But look, I just evened out my skin tone. It's so good. And as I need more, I just tap. Tappy, tap, tap. All right, pushing it in. All right, next I'm gonna flip to this small end and I'm gonna go into Versailles. And I'm gonna go right here in the middle over that mango, pushing it up and over my brows, tapping as I need more. I like a punchy brightening. That's my personal preference. If you're going to use something that's significantly lighter than your main shade, you're definitely going to want to start out using a blend brush because you want so little. It's like using the dark shade to cover that discoloration. The same goes for when you're brightening. You get more out of your makeup using less. The color is lighter than my skin tone, so if I put too much on, it's gonna look cakey and textury. And if you like that really bright brightening like I do, use half of what you're actually, if it looks cakey, use half of what you're already using. And you just need less. Same with that using the mango. It's the same concept, just on two different ones, darker, one's lighter. That's it. Grabbing a little more, just gonna tap a little on. We're gonna hit this Cupid's bow, and look at how it just accentuated it. And then right here, because we have natural reflecting points on our face, and that's all I'm doing here is accentuating that reflection. Same right there, accentuating the reflection. All right, we're gonna go in on the side here. I'm gonna go into olive. You can see this is the difference between a contour and a bronzer. Cool, warm. Okay, we're gonna tap in. I just melted my tins, they look so good. I'm gonna tap in and I'm gonna go on the side and on the side. Pull my hair up and then I'm just gonna use little circles to swirl it. Little circles to swirl it and blend it. I'm gonna grab that brightening and I'm gonna pull it up and in to that contour. And then it just evens everything out. And because contour is darker, you need a little, not as much as you would grab, say, with your main highlight. So good. Okay, got it on. I'm ready to move on to the next step. We're going in on the side. I always tap when I'm contouring on the side. I like the detail brush because you can really get the most out of what you're using. You can use it flat to put your main highlight on. You can use the edge to create that contour sharpness that you like. I push into that. Just flick lightly if you have large pores in that area. And then the same thing over here, and I'm just going over it. Olive can be very deep if you put more on. And if you have hyperpigmentation in your contour zone like I do, olive is a great contour that also helps hide that hyperpigmentation, whereas something like indigo could possibly grab that tone and accentuate it a little bit. So I really love olive. It is one of my favorites. You could prep it if you want to use indigo and you're very dark. Prep that hyperpigmentation with the olive contour. I use suede, but olive is my second pick because I use it in my gym bag when I don't have room for the suede. I use olive in the same way I use suede because they are pretty similar. Okay, grabbing it again, we're gonna pop it in and I'm gonna go on either side of my nose and I'm gonna tap it and I'm gonna tap it and I bring them together. This is great if you're looking to slim your nose, but you don't wanna use too much contour. You wanna just put this on the sides first and let it focus on the sides and then bridge it together. That way you can still see the definition of the contour on the sides the most, but this is gonna help us sculpt our nose the way we want it. So I'm just going around the tip, up, and then I bridge it all together. I really don't bridge it together on the tip of my nose. It's just not exactly necessary. We're gonna take this little end, we're gonna go into that Versailles, and I am going to go down the bridge, hit the tip. I'm gonna skip right here, and that's because it makes it look like I've got a little button nose. It's whatever you want. You can bring it all the way down if you want, and it just gives you that nice slim nose, but you've sculpted it to look that way. And that's why I really like bridging that contour together and then coming in at the end with the brightening. I'm gonna grab some more and I'm gonna hit right here, and then I'm gonna push up, and then I'm gonna push down. This is just gonna sculpt my jawline, especially right back here. This is where I really like to focus this jawline contour. I like to sharpen that back point. So again, push up in front of the earlobe and then come down. Up and then down. That's it. All right. We are going to get into bronzer. It's warm in here and I have a high neck, turtleneck. Anyway, we're gonna go into the bronzer right here. And there's only a few places. This will last for such a long time. It's so creamy. I only warm up right here on either side. This is where the sun naturally hits your face. So we're just gonna warm things up, pull over, circle, 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 we'll pull over, and that way it's uniformed and it just adds that little touch of warmth that works with that contour. I'm gonna take this little end and I'm just going to use it to buff out the line between brightening, contour, bronzer. Just like that, nothing put on it. All right, grabbing it again, and I'm going to go on the outer half. You see how my brush is half off right here? Gonna hit it, and then I'm gonna go above that contour right here. It's a fairly big brush, so you don't need bronzer on the whole thing. So I just put it on half, and then I just bring it down. Do it again, over here above that contour, and then I just keep it on this high point because you want that sun-kissed look on your cheekbone, where you usually get a little red. And you can bridge this all the way across if you want to. I've done it before. I'll probably do it again once we start getting into summer. It's a really good look. People do it with pink blushes right now too. All right, under eyes. I'm gonna switch back to my blend brush. Your under eyes are a soft tissue area. And if you like a punchy brightening, you want very little product. So we're gonna tap a little bit on, and then I am going to go and I'm just gonna bring this right under that trough, and then I bring it up. And I do this because you need so little product when you're using something bright. I like Versailles. I used to use White Peach, and then they came out with Versailles, and I knew it was love at first sight. It was like Athens to me. I love Athens as my main highlight, love at first sight. I saw Versailles, and it has this pink undertone that I think plays really well with the eyes, but you've got to go light. You've got to start light and build. It's hard to blend down. It's easier to build up. And so I take my brush. You could see there's not a lot on here. I'm going to tap in a couple times, but you really don't see a difference, but it's there. It's white bristles is probably the reason, but you want so little. And I just tap this around and I'll bring it up to my soft tissue here, but focusing it right on that edge under that trough is key. That way I don't accentuate. I still have it. I'm just able to camouflage any under eye puffiness that I might have. But I do like a very bright under eye. Not very. I mean, it's not like I look like I've got a mask on, but I do like it. I think it makes me look a little bit more youthful, but I do love having that extra bright punch under my eye. All right, let's move on to blush. My secret weapon for blush, if you have rosacea, scarring, but you like a dark blush or a bright blush like Dahlia, pink lemonade, baby watermelon, pink grapefruit, if you like those, your secret weapon is Frenchie. Everybody should have Frenchie or Wildflower if it's available, but Frenchie is always available, and it is a must in your palette if you have any discoloration on your cheeks. Even your under eyes. It's a great under eye corrector too, not a one-trick pony. So I'm going to take a little bit and I'm going to put it on the apples of my cheeks. It's this really pretty peachy tone, and it helps combat and keep back your rosacea or your scarring from pulling through when you want to use a bolder blush. So I'm going to take the fluffy end here and I'm going to go into Rosewood. Rosewood is so pretty and deep, and I think it's a great summer blush. A lot of people would say it's more fall. I disagree, but also it's your face. Wear whatever color you want. I mean, if you want to wear red and green in July, do it. I'm going to take this blush, which you can see. You can see the color, but my bristles aren't clumping together. And we're going to start right up here. I start on the high point of my cheek because I have maturing cheeks. And then I'm going to bring it down into that Frenchie, and they're gonna work together. I love this color. I just think it rounds out my cheeks in a really young way. I love this color. It's not too young, it's not too old, it's just right, I think, for me, I think. So again, I'm gonna go in on the fluffy end. I always pinch right here when I'm picking up product. I like to, you could shake it and fan them out. Again, hitting that top part of that cheekbone. And then I smile so you can see right where your apples are. That way you're not getting out of the zone, the cheek zone. And we're just gonna pull this up. I pull it up towards my temple. That way it's not like this weird. My grandma had always had like this, you know? And so I just bring it up so I got PTSD from seeing it, so I just blend it out. All right, we're gonna go in and we're going to contour our lips. I'm gonna stay with the blend brush. I'm gonna go into Olive, and I'm just going to go right here underneath my lip. I really just like focusing it on the bottom lip, but I do also put a little above that Cupid's bow, and it just creates, look at how it just creates this illusion of a curl. It's so good. Grabbing a little Versailles, and I always put this on the outer corners because you could see the difference on my mouth. This has more of a pinch, like a pout, whereas here it's more rounded, and it's just from adding this brightening right here. And we tap it out. We don't want to look like we just ate a donut. We just tap it out, and it creates this pout. I like that. So you could do whatever you want. You could smear that sucker all the way around your lips and have big blowfish lips, and you'll look great. It's your face, your preference. Do you, boo? Do you? All right, I am going to be using the new color that's coming out May 1st. This is Ibiza, and it's a great neutral color. This isn't going to be flashy. It's a great neutral color. This is a good wedding color. This is a guest at the wedding, I guess. I don't know, but I am going to get the multitasker brush right here, and I am going to go into Suede lip liner right there, and we're going to dip into it, grabbing it on either side, and then I'm going to line. I'm going to get a little mirror out. This palette needs to get cleaned up. All right, and I am going to line my lips. I think with Suede, it is a nice light color. I think you could pop off your lip if you wanted to. It's not like using Renaissance, which is bold and deep and beautiful, but I don't think you could pop off your lip the way you can with Suede. You could even contour. I've contoured with Suede, and that's why I feel like it gives you the luxury of coming off the lip just a little bit. Not too much. You don't want to look weird. I think if you go too far off with Suede, you could just look like you got a dirty mouth, but that's just me. All right, now I'm going to take Ibiza. This is such a beautiful, beautiful color. It is a very dense, I mean, you really got to rub onto it, but it's look at how pretty that is. It's so good, but you do really got to rub into it. Okay, I will say that. You got to rub into it. There's two colors that are like that. Ibiza's one and Carousel is the other one. So I'm really letting the warmth of my finger pick this product up, and then I'm going to put that on my lips. But you see, it's such a good neutral lip. It is, they say that, is this a gloss? I wish they put that, I can't see. I can't remember if I would say this is a gloss because it has a sheen to it, but it's not tacky and it's not slick. So when you get into the other glosses like Summer Love, which is also a really beautiful summer color, wedding color, it picks up pretty easy. But look at how pretty this is. I just stack this until I'm happy. It's really good. You can even just grab it with the brush and really dig into it and put it on. But look at how pretty that is. I think this would go really well with your contour as a liner also, but this is just such a good neutral color. It's just, I mean, it's really gorgeous, and I like it a lot, and I'm so glad it comes back. When there's colors that aren't available anymore, you won't see me using them in tutorials during that time. If you're catching this when it's no longer available, that means it's old. But Ibiza's back forever. This will be back for good. No, I'm so glad it's not limited edition. Who here is sick of limited edition? Pfft, right here, this girl. Okay, that's it. That's my full coverage. Just taking that little bit of a darker color and just prepping. Look at, it's just a great finish without piling on a lot of makeup. It's so easy, so good. I would say I still don't look like I've got a pound of makeup on for full coverage, especially if you're used to seeing people wearing full coverage traditional makeup. This is still significantly less, and it has that skin-like finish. I'm going to take my Urban Decay De-Slick, and I am going to spray my whole face. Okay, and then I'm going to go into my powder. I'm going to take the blend brush and I'm gonna go in, and while this is still wet on my face, I always start on the perimeter, and then I look at the way it just muted that down. I always start on the perimeter and work it in. So grabbing that dust and starting out, watch, see that shine right there? Just mutes it down. So good, but starting out here puts the bulk of the powder out here where maybe you don't have those noticeable pores. I have large pores on the apples of my cheeks, so I'm not going to, and I have soft tissue under my eyes like everybody, but if you put that powder directly on it, it's going to crepe it and it's going to accentuate it. Same right here where I have my anger mark, I don't know. When you think it's gone, it's not. Put black eyeshadow in anything. That stuff stays forever. Same thing, it's still in there. So after you've hit those base points over here, take whatever's left and go down the middle where you have creasing, smile lines, talk a lot lines, yell at your kids lines. I just poked my eye, but that's it. That's my face. That is full coverage. Still less than what you're using traditionally, but that's full coverage. Have a great day.